Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Fahd Dawood. I talk about real estate, Dubai specifically, but also internationally, your life and my life, and our path to financial bliss. I've got some good news. Something about how investors in Dubai are going to stop making more money out of their properties month on month. In the end of the day, more cash income into their pocket. I want to talk about how the government's made some steps that's changed something that's going to allow them to stop making more money. And then I'm also going to reflect on how the Dubai government, in sync with the Dubai Land Department and the Real Estate Regulatory Agency, is always looking out for the investor. Don't forget that during the global financial crisis of 2008-2009, when a lot of people kind of just got up and left, it's the Dubai government that got involved big time in terms of clearing up the mess that was made by international investors to make sure that investor confidence returned to the Dubai market. Okay, so one of the areas that the Real Estate Regulatory Agency under the Dubai Land Department has been looking at is service charges. Okay, now just to give you a little bit of a background on what service charges are and how they came into being and how they're instituted and implemented. Essentially speaking, if you buy an apartment, okay, in a building, you, along with all the other owners of apartments in that building, become co-owners of the common areas and are therefore responsible for the expenses of the upkeep and the maintenance of the common areas. Now, the common areas in an apartment building would be something like the corridors, the concierge service downstairs, the main lobby, the swimming pool. Somebody needs to maintain the elevators. Somebody needs to make sure that the swimming pool has enough chlorine, something chlorinated, not to make it chemically unsafe, but just to make sure it's actually to make it safe with chlorine, right? The gym is well equipped. The building has a sinking fund. The building has insurance, so on and so forth. Now, as you guys are co-owners of these common areas, you have to contribute for the upkeep of these areas. Now, in buildings in Dubai, there are service charges that start from, they used to be at 8 dirhams. I don't think that any building in Dubai currently was at 8 dirhams per square foot, and go all the way. I believe the Burj Khalifa service charges are 70 dirhams plus per square foot, right? Because it's an expensive building to maintain. The glass facade has to be clean, so on and so forth. When you're looking at an investment, you want to be in the sweet spot between the 12 to 15 dirhams per square foot, not be closer to the 20 dirhams per square foot, because at the end of the day, the service charges eat into the rental income that you're looking to generate. However, if you go too cheap, or if in certain buildings homeowners are not paying their service charges, you'll start seeing the upkeep of the building start deteriorating, coming down. The common areas aren't clean. The AC switched off in the common areas. The security services are lacking. The garbage collection is bad, and obviously all this compounded affect the resale price of your property. Now, same thing applies to a villa or a townhouse community. Generally speaking, service charges are lower in villas per square foot in villas and townhouse communities as compared to buildings. Okay, so in villas you might be paying something like 4 or 5 dirhams per square foot, which is like $1 or maximum $2 per square foot, whereas in buildings you might be paying $6 to $7 per square foot. Okay, now what's been happening? Essentially speaking, the Dubai government, through RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Agency, had been turning the screws and ensuring that once the developer has completed the building, the developer is no longer in charge of making sure that they are also maintaining the building. Initially in 2003, 4, 5, what happened is, as soon as the developer started completing the apartments and handing them over to the owners, the developers decided, hey, you know what? This seems like a good business opportunity to maintain this building. So we could charge the homeowners 2 million, book a profit of $500,000, and spend $1.5 million on the upkeep of the building. Hey, sounded like a good plan, and it wasn't their fault because there was no law against doing that. But the government saw that the developers were taking advantage of this, and then they instituted the Homeowners Association law, whereby the developer has to ensure, and the government's very serious about this, because essentially speaking, when the developer completes a building, there is money in escrow with the government, with the Dubai Land Department. Part of it, like almost 5% of their revenue, can only be released after they've held their first homeowners meeting, because in the initial phase the developer is in charge of making sure that they take care of everything and try to bring to everybody together. In some cases the developer might also, the builder might also run the building for the first year, because you can't have owners taking keys and all of a sudden nobody's taking care of the maintenance of the building. So sometimes the developer can, for the first year, be in charge, and that's okay, perfectly fine, because you want your elevator, corridors spanking clean, right? But what the developers now have to do is they have to have their first or second board meeting of all the homeowners. The homeowners appoint an owners association, which is a professional body, knows how to run a building or a community, knows how to collect the service charges, and then essentially speaking go on to hand over control of the building or the community to the owners, who are naturally, genuinely the owners of the common areas. Fine. So far, so good. But what had been happening for the last 10-12 years is service charges had been trickling up, right? So from 14 they go to 15 to 16 to 17, in some cases 21 dirhams, right? 21 dirhams per square foot. That's enormous, right? Owners had been complaining, and real estate regulatory agency listens, right? Because at the end of the day, they're there to maintain balance between the investors, the developers, the end users, all of Dubai, right? Real estate is an important sector for Dubai. So what the real estate regulatory agency did over the last year, I think it was a year and a half period, they appointed an auditing firm, and they picked up a sample, I think, of 5 to 10 buildings, and they audited the service charges, okay? Do you know what they discovered? That service charges can be brought down anywhere up to 20%. And now, this is something somebody's just shared with me yesterday. It's unverified. The instructions that have been given to the homeowners associations and the developers are to bring down service charges by 20%. 20% from 2019, I believe. In 2020, the service charges have to be brought down 20%. And one of the communities and one main property that my team manages for one of our investors, it's in Business Bay, it's run by a big developer. I believe our service charges have just come down from 21 dirhams per square foot to 14 dirhams per square foot. That's what we see in the new bills that we've just received, right? So we didn't receive the bill for quarter one until the late quarter two, because they were revising and coming up with their new strategies and new bills thresholds, and we got them it's like from 21 dirhams per square foot to 14 dirhams per square foot. That's almost a 30% decrease in service charges, which obviously is going to reflect directly in the income that we generate for our owner. Now, you might be thinking, because this is my question, right? I'm an agent, an investor, I'm a real estate person. Now, when I look at this, I say to myself, but weren't the accounts all audited? And I asked an accountant, a financial analyst this, like the accounts were audited, all the service charges you were paying were audited. Who was benefiting from this? And somebody told me, look, in some cases, now it's not everywhere, but in some cases in Dubai, it's like wink wink, and in some cases it could happen that the developer gives off the management of the building to a friend of his, or he makes his own company sometimes. And in some cases it might be like wink wink, charge this much and perhaps this much can come back as profit to us, or appoint this person as the contractor for this job, and you let the contractor just invoice a little bit higher and give a kickback money to the manager. I'm not saying that it's prevalent and it's happening everywhere. But look, when there's no check and balance, these costs kind of do get out of hand, because I know how business is run, right? I don't charge my owners a fee above the management fee. And this is what I've learned, the ethical way, that when you're running an apartment or when you're managing property, don't let the maintenance company, well, number one, always don't have an in-house maintenance team, because then you're incentivized to overinflate invoices. But also, if maintenance companies want to give you referral fees, negotiate hard and tell them you don't want any referral fee, you just want the price to be deducted from the bill that's going to be sent to the landlord. So there's many ways that companies make money. What I love that the Real Estate Regulatory Agency has done is just bring service charges down across the board and given instructions to bring them down by 20%, which is going to, at the end of the day, benefit the investors. And I'm very happy about that. That means, you know, and it goes to tell you that the Dubai government takes real estate as an important sector, and they're watching out for the people who are investing in the Dubai real estate market. I hope this makes sense. Look, hit the subscribe button, press the bell icon. If you've got a particular question that you want to put across to me, send it to me on WhatsApp. Questions are to be sent to me on WhatsApp. If you want to work one-on-one with me, you're happy to reach out to me. I do charge a fee. I'll explain it to you over email, or I'll guide you to my web page. Ciao for now. Catch you soon on the other side.